Im November entscheidet sich, wer Amerika künftig führen wird. Der amtierende US-Präsident Barack Obama oder der Mormone und Republikaner Mitt Romney. Die Kulturwissenschaftlerin Marcia Pally, bekannt durch ihr Buch Die neuen Evangelikalen in den USA, hat im Interview mit Pro schon einmal einen Ausblick auf die Wahlentscheidung der gläubigen Amerikaner gewagt.
Most evangelicals will vote Republican in 2012, as they have been voting Republican for the last 40 years, since they formed a coalition or an informal handshake with the Republican Party in response to the social and cultural changes of the 1960s. And since then, they have been a reliable Republican voting bloc. However, in 2008, a third of evangelicals under 40 voted for Barack Obama. Nearly a third of older evangelicals, 27%, voted also Democrat in 2008, a 5-point uptick from the previous election in 2004. So what we're beginning to see is a greater range of electoral and behavior from evangelicals, especially from younger evangelicals who are not following the prosperity gospel and religious right politics of their parents. What we do see is shifts among what I call new evangelicals away from the policies associated with the religious right towards anti-consumerism, anti-militarism, anti-torture, and for environmental protection, economic justice, immigration reform, and reconciliation dialogue with others. And this is a very noticeable shift from the policies that became associated with the religious right, especially through the sensationalist reporting in the media for the last 40 years.
Der amerikanische Journalist David Brody hat jüngst das Buch The Evangelikals veröffentlicht. Darin beschreibt er, wie die christliche Community die Bürgerbewegung Tea Party unterstützt. Für Marcia Pally ein No-Go.
Most Tea Party members are not evangelicals. The Tea Party at their peak in about 2010 came to roughly 11 to 12% of the population. Of that, evangelicals came to 4%. So evangelicals with their spectrum, you will find on the right wing of evangelicals significant Tea Party sympathies. But moving away from the right wing to the center or to more this economic justice and environmental protection, the new evangelicals, you'll find neutrality, antipathy, criticism of the Tea Parties. You'll find a wide range of positions, a surprisingly wide range. And that was one of the things that came out when I did my field research. The intellectual media has enjoyed looking down on them, to put it simply, and portraying evangelicals as a bunch of primitive yahoos, and portraying them all the same and ignoring any distinctions between the wide number of religious and political groups. That media stance remains today. There has been some nudging in the last few years as journalists have had to cope with the fact that there are evangelical environmental groups, that there were evangelical PACs for political action committees in support of Obama, that the person who ran Obama's nominating convention was an evangelical pastor, that there were evangelical pastors writing the Democratic Party platform in 2008. So journalists have from time to time reckoned with this shift. But there remains a lot of prejudice against evangelicals and a persistent tendency to lump everybody together. So you get the most right-wing and the most environmental and economic justice person lumped together as though they were all have the same priorities. That's just not the case. Talking about any group, it's unuseful and prejudicial to lump millions of people together and to fail to make distinctions in the values and priorities and actions of different groups or different people within a very, very large group. That's just bad research.